possible regime change from Trump. This is not what the market really wants on a Friday morning going into a weekend. So if you want to look at your stocks, Google, Amazon, Tesla, Nvidia, and Trump and what he just did, let's take a look at it. So this is the Truth Social on Truth Social. I cannot believe I downloaded this app to see these truths, but if somebody in the comments knows where to see them without downloading the app, let me know. And I want them updated fast. So look, here's the tweet. Democratic shutdown costs the USA at least 2 points in GDP. That's why they are doing it in mini form again. No shutdowns, also lower interest rates. Too late, Powell is the worst. President DJT. So that's great to Truth or Tweet or X or whatever this is. Let's look at the market and see what's actually going on. Here is the truth about UFOs and aliens trying to distract people from what's really going on. And here's the truth about a Biden, okay, health study, that's nothing related to the market, an oil spill, okay, that's not affecting oil stocks. Oil stocks are up right now. And here is Trump at a McDonald's type place. They make chili dogs, okay. That's not going to flip the market as far as I know. Maybe certain food stocks, okay, ticker symbol EAT, Chipotle stocks, okay, but most of this is, of course, garbage. Of course, there is the tariff Supreme Court ruling as well. That's not nothing. But let's jump into my computer here where we can see everything in detail here. So that's what I want to do right now, okay? And I hate to say it, but the best way to do that is not to look at Trump tweets, but Trump truths, Trump posts, but to look at a little bit of stocks. So the best way to do that is in my opinion, to look at a certain type of stock. And I know Trump is on everyone's mind. I think that the stock that you want to look at here is actually Tesla, okay? And this Supreme Court ruling, which I'm going to talk about in just a minute. So let's take a look at that right now. Welcome in if you're seeing this recording on Friday. It's Friday. We don't want crazy Trump moving market, declarations of war or regime change hints. We really don't want that. Okay. So here we go. Let's take a look at a little bit about this tariff situation. I'm on X to see this. I'd love to look at I'd love to look at Truth Social for this, but it's just not good, right? It's not good. So I couldn't even load I had to open the app like 4 times just to get into it. It's not good, right? So X is where the news is. So we're going to look at X. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. I don't know what to say. So let's look at this. This is the tariff thing right here. Okay. The tariff ruling. And I think it's pretty important, actually. Remember, or not remember, I mean, that the market bottomed on tariffs, right? So on that tariff reversal. So it's a big deal. It is a big deal no matter what stocks you hold. So we can talk over here, but I think better yet would be looking at what people are actually saying here on X. So let's do that right here. Okay, tariffs. Tariffs are a big deal for the market. They have been for the entirety, all of the entire 2025. They were a big deal. So here's the deal. The Supreme Court of the United States has officially ruled that President Trump's tariffs are illegal in a 6-3 ruling. Okay, so, that's fine. But what I really want to do is say, look, what's the market actually doing? Okay, so the market's up. Tariffs being illegal is good for the market. So that's good. That's going to make a lot of people reassured. It's been a pretty crazy time the last 3 months. The last 6 months, of course, has been pretty good. It hasn't been as good as 2021, which was an awesome year, but 2025 was pretty good after April. So, what do you think about Trump? I just asked in the comments on this YouTube live. You can see the comments live right now. So I see those comments come in. But the market's up. And if we look around, when the market's up, of course, big stocks go up. Okay. Nvidia's up. Bitcoin even. Bitcoin is doing okay. Is now the time to buy the dip in Bitcoin? I'm not Mr. Buy the Bitcoin dip. Okay. I'm just not. There are people that are, but it's not me. Maybe you could say if you bought here, you could risk 70. Once it gets over 70, you could risk $70,000 per Bitcoin. $70,000 is the price of Bitcoin. And take a position in Bitcoin, dollar cost average into Bitcoin. Okay? That, if you're trying to buy Bitcoin, that's the way to buy it. Okay? Again, it's not something that I think is super awesome, right? I mean, I just don't think it's super awesome. I think you want to wait. I think you're going to have a chance to get into Bitcoin. And it's not right now. And also, I think IBIT is the ETF for Bitcoin. That's how to buy Bitcoin if you're buying stocks. Okay? So, the market is good. Bitcoin is okay. And the tariff ruling is good. Okay? So, let's see what to look at outside of the market, outside of Trump, outside of Bitcoin. Okay. I think the best place to start is, the response. Okay. So the market is not showing a response to Trump talking about the Iran regime change. Okay. It's just not. But this is what Chuck Schumer has to say about the tariffs. Okay. So let's listen in to this right now. Just for a minute here. Okay.
We are getting some more reaction from Washington, D.C. Schumer saying that the tariff ruling is a victory for consumer wallets. There's also some reaction from the EU seeking clarity on the next steps. A spokesperson telling the Dow Jones Newswire that they're in close contact with the U.S. administration.
Sorry for the lag.
Marie, I mean, there are still active and live negotiations going on because everything that was really established, I guess, has been a framework at this point.
Yeah, there are active negotiations, but if you are a trading partner with the United States and you know that they're going to use some of these other avenues via USTR, the Commerce Department that Mike McKee just outlined, do you really want to go back into having a fight with the administration when you definitely know you want access to the U.S. market? So I'm not quite sure with trading partners where this will stand. I'm sure a lot of them are getting phone calls from reporters like me asking what is going to be your posture now to the U.S. government, given what the Supreme Court said about IEEPA. When it comes to the Democrats, hearing from Senator Schumer right now, a victory for the wallets of every American consumer. Two things come to mind. One, before the midterm elections, the Democrats are going to use this.
Okay. 2 minutes is a long time. Let's see if we can listen to tariff news and what it has to do with the market here. This is 10 minutes. Let's listen to this tariff ruling and what it has to do with the market.
We have a breaking news alert for you. It's finally here. The Supreme Court has made a decision on President Trump's tariffs. This is a huge case, a big ruling. It comes right before the State of the Union. And Shannon Bream, of course, is standing by with us. Shannon, do we have an initial thought on what the ruling is?
We do. We've got a very fractured opinion, but initially what it says, we know it's authored, the primary opinion, by the Chief Justice, and says essentially that this IEEPA, this law that grants the president emergency powers, did not, it looks like by this first blush reading by the Chief Justice here, does not give him the power to levy these tariffs that he's levied. Part of this initial opinion says, the words regulate and importation, the president says that gives him the independent power to impose tariffs on imports from any country, any product, any rate, any time. These words, it says, cannot bear such weight. We know we've got a dissent by Justice Kavanaugh, by Thomas and Alito, it looks like, and those were the three we thought during the arguments, if anyone would be persuaded to allow the president to move forward with these tariffs, they would be the ones to do it. So at first blush, like I said, there are multiple parts and concurrences to this opinion, but it looks like what the primary holding is going to be is that these tariffs cannot be used in the way that the president had tried to use them. Let me get you to the closing paragraph that we have in this initial opinion here. It says, the president asserts the extraordinary power to unilaterally impose tariffs of unlimited amount, duration, and scope. In light of the breadth, history, and constitutional context of that asserted authority, he must identify clear congressional authorization to exercise it, meaning if he wants to do it, he's got to show that Congress has allowed him to do it. But they say IEEPA, this emergency powers law, contains no reference to tariffs or duties. The government points to no statute in which Congress used the word regulate to authorize taxation. And until now, no president has ever read IEEPA to confer such powers. We claim no special competence in matters of economics or foreign affairs, but we claim only, as we must, the limited role assigned to us by Article 3 of the Constitution. Fulfilling that role, we hold that IEPA does not authorize the president to impose tariffs. We'll keep reading. That is the first blush, authored by the Chief Justice John Roberts.
Shannon Bream, thank you so much. Bill Malutian is with me, and we will anchor through this hour. This is big breaking news, everyone. Yep. And Jonathan Turley is a constitutional law attorney and George Washington law professor. He's a Fox News contributor. We have been waiting for this decision. It is finally here. I don't think the White House will be surprised, even though they will be disappointed. They will probably vehemently disagree. But this is at least definitive, it sounds like, Jonathan, from the Supreme Court, that this was not allowed.
It is indeed, and this is what some of us predicted. This was a case where the administration was at a disadvantage. IEPA does not refer to tariffs, and tariffs are a big deal under the Constitution. It's a critical form of revenue that is left to Congress. And I thought that the administration did a terrific job in front of the Supreme Court. They could not have argued this case better, in my view. But you can't really escape that language. And right out of the bat, when that oral argument began, the Chief Justice John Roberts said, this is a tax. And you could almost hear the administration gulping, because that's not what they wanted the justice.
Okay, so tariffs are basically unconstitutional. I think that's pretty much the only thing that matters for the market here. So the market's up. I mean, this is good. This is breaking news. It's happening right now. We can see the reaction in the market. But beyond that, I don't really know what to say here. I mean, it's real.
This is to take from their...
But that's what's going on. So that's the market. The market's up. And let me know in the comments what's going on. Like this stream, this live recording. Subscribe to the channel. And head over to free.stockscommunity.com to get a free newsletter, including 6 best stocks to own in 2026. Head over to stockscommunity.com to try the free trial for $25 for 7 days. There's a free training on that page, stockscommunity.com. The link is in the description. Free training on how to buy stocks before they go up. See you in the next one. Good luck.